Hello and welcome to The Kurt Locker, a podcast where we chronologically step through and discuss each film starring Kurt Russell. My name is Andrew Gormley, and I am one of your hosts. I am joined on this episode by my co-host. You'll never catch her having any truck with those Yankees across the river, Whitney Nelson.
That's me.
I had to check to make sure that I wasn't mishearing that line, and then
No.
I wasn't. Having any truck.
Yeah, no, that's the right line.
Are you familiar with that phrase? I've never heard that.
Oh yeah, no, I don't know if this is my Midwestern farmer half of the family coming out or what, but that was the thing that was said all the time. I feel like I don't truck with that.
Oh, well, I get that. See, that would track with me because we're just replacing one word with another. But
no, I think it was before fuck was used in that context.
That is interesting.
I think trucking was like, I always in my head pictured it more as like I'm picking up what you're putting down. Like I approve of this idea enough to like haul it place to place.
Okay.
That's what I always saw in my head with truck was like, it's worth the effort or not worth the effort.
Got it. Yeah. Okay.
That's how I always pictured it in my head because it was said a lot. And again, I don't know. I have a bunch of Midwestern farmer family, and then I also did a bunch of Civil War reenacting and living history stuff. So I don't know where it came from that I said that, but
bombarded on all sides by trucking. I understand.
But yeah, I've said I don't truck with the likes of you more than once in my life.
I got to try to work this into a conversation somehow now. I'll work on that. Whitney, I got to ask right out of the gate. When are we going to stop being bamboozled? Is there an end in sight?
I don't know.
This was a fucking television show. What? I cannot believe it. I cannot believe that, again, this has happened to me. I said no TV shows, no movies. And basically every single one of the things
so far
we've watched.
It's only been TV shows.
Son of a bitch. I think next week our streak will finally be broken.
we have exclusively watched TV shows so far.
Unbelievable. So. Every time this faded to black, I was like, oh, they just smashed together a TV show, didn't they? Because they smashed to black. They fade to black a lot in this movie.
Yeah, not to jump the gun too much, but I found this movie very hard to follow in the first 30 minutes or so. Let's do the upfront stuff, and then we can talk about the rest of it.
I'm excited. We'll get into it. So
cliffhanger. You got to get through the housekeeping to get to my comments on being confused.
Perfect. Okay. So as always, I want to mention up top, you can find our podcast at 12and24.com. That's the numbers 12 and 24.com. You can email us kurtlockerpod@gmail.com or hit us up on Twitter at kurtlockerpod. Slow but steady increase in both emails and followers on Twitter.
It'll pick up more once we get into his like late teens, early 20s, I think.
That's when someone types in Escape from New York podcast and then the Google result shows us. That's when realistic. I'm just being realistic here, or The Thing or something. That's when it skyrockets.
Well, once you get like heavy hitters, you get a bunch of heavy hitters right out the gate. But we do have another decade or so still in these Disney years.
Lord help me. I'm having a great time. Despite what my my attitude might suggest otherwise, it is not true. I am really, truly enjoying this. If only because of Kurt. So, yeah.
Kurt Russell. Again, we're jumping the gun. Let's get through the housekeeping. But Kurt Russell is proving to be a tiny dynamo, and I understand why he has had the career that he has.
Right. It's pretty evident.
To be like 16 years old and driving the movie with only other adults in leads says a lot about him.
Yes. It's something.
Yeah.
So when we're piecing this episode back together, you're going to be getting our thoughts throughout. So by the time when we get to our actual thoughts, you will have heard most of them already, but that's okay. That's okay. Speaking of hearing our thoughts, you can join us on Discord and chat in real time. Just go to 12and24.com/Discord. This is also growing steadily over time, which is really, really nice.
It is. We've had a long conversation about Tilda Swinton recently. We've had just a lot of stuff. A good review of Cyberpunk 2077 that Eric shared that also goes a little bit into a deep dive of Keanu's career.
Sure.
A lot of cool stuff that is both relevant and totally irrelevant to any of the podcasts.
Yeah, right. Don't think that we have to necessarily stay on point in a Discord. It actually very rarely does. So it's cool though. Please feel free to join in. And then finally, if you want to support us with just a moment of your time, you can share the show with your friends, rate and review us on iTunes, bring more folks into the fray. We have our first review. It's wonderful. It's 5 stars, 5 full stars. You love to see it. This is from Steve, aka Elvis236. Whitney, I'm sure you're aware, maybe you're not, but I have a feeling you are, that Kurt Russell is not only a huge Elvis fan himself, but has played Elvis numerous times in various things that we're going to watch. So it makes sense that a guy whose username is...
I have not seen any of those, personas, but I am aware that they exist.
Yeah. He's very good. Here's the thing. I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen anything with the actual... audio as far as the singing voice goes, but the physicality that he brings when he does his Elvis, I'm like, holy shit, that is crazy.
Yeah, we'll see. Elvis is the first person I ever had a crush on who's a real person.
There you go.
So we'll see how I feel about the physical personification of Elvis, but I refuse to believe that he was dead. When I had a huge crush on him and everyone was like, he's dead. And I was like, that's a lie.
Do you still refuse to believe it, or?
No, I know he's dead.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to, all right. That's good.
There are people
that...
I firmly believe that he died in a toilet.
That's the bummer part of it. It is.
It's a real bummer part of it. But a lot of the later part of his life was a real bummer part of it.
So Steve's review.
That is neither here nor there. Steve says,
huge Kurt Russell fan here, and I felt like I struck gold when I first heard about this upcoming podcast focusing on his films. Focus is a strong word given what we have presented so far, Steve, but I thank you. He goes on to say, I'll be listening to every episode, but I'm really looking forward to when you get to his adult work. Thank you for providing this great idea for a podcast. I'll be listening till the end. Steve, thanks so much. Welcome to the show. Okay. Are we keeping on point? Should I run the synopsis? Do you want to change it up?
Yeah,
do you want to run
synopsis?
Okay.
No, do the synopsis.
All right. Today we are talking about the film Mosby's Marauders. I think I said Mosby's Marauder on our last episode. It doesn't change too much, but there are many of them.
Yes, it's a plural.
The plot synopsis from Rotten Tomatoes is: a young Confederate scout, played by Kurt Russell, for Mosby's Rangers, meets a young Yankee who becomes his friend. This movie was written by Harold Swanton and directed by Michael O'Hurley. Hurley. Some Irish guy. Some very Irish guy.
Hurley, I think.
Hurley? Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
Oh, Hurley. All right, there you go. Co-starring alongside Kurt are James MacArthur, Nick Adams, Jack Ging, and Peggy Lipton. Whitney, what do the critics, audiences, and what does anyone have to say about this movie?
Well, on Rotten Tomatoes, no one has anything to say about anything. This movie has no Rotten Tomatoes scores.
Yeah.
No critical or audience reviews. So we had to default to IMDb because that's where the populace is with this movie, I guess. No one's rated it on Rotten Tomatoes. So IMDb has it as a rating of 6.8 out of 10 with 48 user ratings.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a quote from IMDb user Carrie Dawson -80048G, who gave it 9 out of 10 stars. Carrie Dawson -80048G says, "This is a delightful film involving the complexities of the American Civil War. This film is cute in nature with comedic aspects during a dark time. This film is well worth watching."
Okay.
Mm-hmm. That's what Carrie Dawson says.
Carrie Dawson -80048G.
G. Uh-huh.
Whitney, I'd love to kick this off with a question for you.
Yes. Yes.
Because I think we could just get into it now. I mean, it's sad. I feel like Rotten Tomatoes isn't like hoity-toity, right? Like,
it kind of is.
Am I taking crazy pills? Like, why? Because like Mosby's Marauders exists on Rotten Tomatoes. Like, it is a page that you can click to, but no critics and no one from the audience. Versus, I think twice now we've had to go to IMDb.
IMDb is boomers and Rotten Tomato is millennials.
That checks out. Okay.
And boomers have watched this movie and care enough about it to rate it, and millennials don't know it exists.
Great. God damn it. Okay. So my question to kick things off, on a scale of 1 to 10, how distracting was the tightness of Lieutenant Mosby's pants to you?
Oh, quite distracting. 10 distracting. But really, kind of like everything about Mosby was unnecessarily distracting. His facial hair was distracting.
Yeah.
His, like, weird piratical swagger. Like, he didn't have a pirate accent or anything, but he definitely thought he was playing a pirate in a Civil War movie. And that was distracting. His tight pants were distracting. The fact that he was wearing like a sort of a cape when no one else was part of the time was distracting.
Uh-huh.
Everything about Mosby distracted from the story.
Okay. Good. So we're coming in at the same exact place, noticing the wrong things about this movie.
Yeah.
Good.
So here's the deal, everybody. I'm just going to go right in and do it. This movie is a Romeo and Juliet story during the Civil War. And what I like about it is that it focuses on the brother against brother stuff in a way that a lot of Civil War stuff does not. It portrays like good guys and bad guys and not just a bunch of Americans fighting one another. But it is also a very Disney-fied version of the Civil War and the politics behind it. And all of the clothing is horrifying from a historical costuming perspective. And the first 30 minutes or so are like double, triple, quadruple agent stuff where people are switching sides constantly because they're like being pulled over to one side and then they're prisoner of war on this side, but then they have to escape. So they're like, I could not keep track of who was a Yankee and who was a rebel for the first half an hour of this movie. Then when like the non-Kurt Russell main character meets the girl, everything kind of slows down a little bit, enough for me to follow along. But part of it was the horrible resolution of what we were watching. But the other part of it was that it was all dialogue and it was all like tell and not show. So I had a very hard time keeping the like machinations of war separate and who was who and where they were and what side of the river they were on and who they were working for and if they were undercover and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of it right up front, and it is incredibly hard for me to parse. Maybe not hard for everyone to parse, but for me with ADD, I was like not watching this movie for the first 20 minutes, even though I was watching this movie, because I kept trying to, like, my brain kept disconnecting to follow things or to think about things or whatever. And I was not able to follow the story and be engaged in the story until the like love story starts.
Yeah, it wasn't just you, just so, you know,
Okay,
so
good.
we're clear, because I was like,
Good.
I didn't think there was enough clarity between the sides. Like, I'm not telling them to like put on your generic North Yankee Confederate uniforms, but help a guy out.
But in some ways, this is the most historically accurate part of the movie, is the not knowing who's on what side, and like having things where it's raining, so everyone's wearing the same sort of like tarred trench coats to stay dry, and you can't tell who's on what side of the war when it's raining because everyone's wearing the same rain gear. A lot of that stuff is actually the most historical parts of this movie. Everything else is not historically accurate at all, but the sort of, like I said, the brother against brother stuff, the shouting across the river, being friends, doing target practice with the other people, like trading the tobacco for the coffee, all of that stuff is pretty accurate. And I'm sure it was as confusing at the time as it was for us watching it. But also, you're making a movie. All the rest of it is so, like, movieized. Why couldn't you do that to the beginning and make it clearer who is who? Right.
You're like, which side? Okay, those guys got it. Okay. They called them Yanks. Yeah. So, okay, I understand that those are, in this movie, the bad guys, I guess?
But, like, right away, Kurt Russell, he's friends with these guys, but then he shoots this guy, and immediately I was confused and then he wasn't shot, but he was shot. People get, like, shot, quote unquote, in this movie a lot, and then don't have any, like, injury later.
Yeah.
And so I'm not sure if they're actually being shot, or if it's just because it's like a Disney movie, they're not showing any gore and everyone's well in a couple of days. But, like, you don't just get up and walk around hale and hearty in 2 days after being shot.
It was Mosby. He shot Mosby in the beginning.
Yeah, he did. He shot Mosby.
And then he just, like, covered him with a blanket and left.
It was like, oh, that guy's dead. Bye. And then they were like, no, it's a day later, and they found him, and he's a deserter, and Mosby's walking around like nothing ever happened.
Right. Not a scratch on him. It's pretty...
Not a scratch on him.
It's pretty wild. I don't know.
Yes.
You know, I think we should probably talk about the watching of this movie. This is another one of those situations that is like someone just took it upon themselves to archive it on YouTube.
Yeah.
I went out of my way to try to find a copy of this movie because I'm like, I don't think we'll have to do it for much longer, but like I'm like a race car in the red with the quality of these films.
Well, I believe like, I believe like the next one puts us squarely into Disney Plus territory, and we're like good from there on out.
I love it. So that's great. You can get, I looked it up because I was just curious. Whitney, if you go on Amazon and you do a quick search for Mosby's Marauders, you can scoop it up on pristine VHS for the low price of $489.95. So if you're listening to this and you happen to have this on VHS, ka-ching.
Sell it.
Ka-ching. Even at half that price, you're making out like a bandit. I saw that Kurt Russell was 4th or 5th build in this movie.
Yeah.
And he is the movie. This movie to me is unwatchable without Kurt.
Oh, 100%.
If this was any other kid, I don't even, I mean,
he's the
like,
only thing that makes this movie good.
Yeah.
In any way, shape, or form. This movie is unwatchable without him. But he is not a starring role. He's like 4th or 5th build, but he's maybe like the 3rd most important character in the story.
Yeah.
Because the story is really about the 2 lovers and then Mosby. Kurt Russell is like the plot hinge, but like he's not a character. He does not have the most lines of anyone in this movie.
Yeah, he's a connector of all of these characters. Yeah. He's like the through line between the 3 of them, really, actually, because the girl is his cousin. The guy who was courting her was the guy across the river in the beginning, and Mosby is his commanding officer. So it's like he's crucial plot wise, but yeah, honestly, I was like, man, I don't care for any of these people. but Kurt is crushing it.
Kurt is very good in this. And I made a note when I was watching this about him going through a lot of puberty between the last movie we saw and this movie.
Yeah.
He's a little teenage heartthrob in this movie. And were I a 16-year-old girl, I would have fallen desperately in love with Kurt Russell in this movie.
Oh, yeah. The hair, is it the blue eye? Yeah, the eyes.
The eyes, the hair, the smile. Mm-hmm. He's got a confidence in himself in this movie that most 16-year-olds do not have. And the fact that he was like tough, but also had a very strong moral compass and knew that people were more important than war. And like, that's all the things that you need for a very good teen heartthrob. I'm kind of surprised that I am not more aware of him being a teen heartthrob, because I don't feel like people talk about him as a teen heartthrob.
Right. But it's possible. A lot of that stuff, a lot of the culture around that may not have
possible,
had
but
support.
I feel like it was. Yeah, I feel like there was more. I don't know. I just feel like I know 60s and 70s and 80s teen heartthrobs and the ones that are like the big ones people have talked about, and I've never heard Kurt Russell named as one of those. It's not until we get later into the 80s when he's like in his 20s.
Right,
yeah. But anyway, I'm surprised because he's got the hair and he's got the smile and he's got the confidence and he's got the eyes, and he was very dreamy in this movie.
I would put that in the pros column for sure.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you're into dreamy 16-year-olds.
No, I'm just saying Kurt Russell's presence overall. Whatever you're taking away from his that's in the pros column.
He is by far the most dynamic person on screen. He is by far the most relatable person on screen. This is a trend that we have seen for every movie so far, where I have been shocked at his acting skill and his acting presence that is way beyond his years every single time, and even more so in this one with a much bigger part that has more to do with like the movie. It's pretty impressive.
I'm watching this movie and I'm getting the gist of what they were attempting here. Mm-hmm. And I think, like, I'm not saying that I want this remade, but if this were tackled with like modern sensibilities, I think this could be like a really decent film.
I think it could be a pretty great movie. Yeah, I'm with you. I thought the same thing. I was like, there's enough meat on these bones that if it were remade properly,
yeah,
it would be a much better movie now than it was then.
And guess what? I'll just throw this out there. Maybe Kurt Russell is Mosby in the remake.
Oh, I love it. I love it so much.
And then we find some other commanding 16-year-old presence to put on screen. I don't know. Mm-hmm. It would be interesting. I like the idea of I don't know why I have to shoot that guy because we're just separated by this river. I like that. Mm-hmm. That's an interesting thing. I like the love in the time of war. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. That's great. Everyone loves that. That's like one of our longest running stories because everyone loves love in the time of war.
Of course. And then to top it off, one of my personal favorites, there's a heist in this movie, and the thing we're heisting is a general.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. They sneak in and steal the general while he's sleeping in the night.
Everything about it. I'm like, there are so many great little discrete bits here. For me, they didn't super connect, and like how we got from A to B.
No, they didn't really connect at all. And that's part of the reason why for the first part of the movie I was so confused.
Right.
Is because they were not. Now, the thing is, and I don't know this for sure, but I believe this is actually a fictionalized version of like a real story. I think this is a real war story. And I think maybe the lack of flow is because they were trying to be more authentic to the facts than they were to telling a story for TV or a movie. And I think that's where it falls through. I'm not sure that that's 100% true, but I believe that is like Mosby's Marauders were really a thing.
Oh.
I think that all of the other stuff with Kurt Russell and the love story is made up, and I think that's why nothing ties together well, is because they're too busy trying to hit real like plot points in a factual timeline with a whole bunch of other stuff that is extra to be more watchable as a movie, but they didn't tie the things together well, so nothing really connects at all. That's my hunch. What I do find hilarious, and my only other note on this movie, is they only had the rights. They only bought the rights to Love Me Tender, the song. Because other than the like sort of bugle cavalry type music, that's the only song in the movie. It's just different instruments playing Love Me Tender at different speeds the entire movie. I literally heard it about 6 times, and I was like, there's no score other than the song Love Me Tender. And I thought that was very distracting.
I did. Right. I didn't care for that. I didn't pick that up, truly. I watched through the credits because, I want to support everyone involved. Mm-hmm. And also, I just didn't.
Well, again, I'm a big Elvis fan. And I know that Elvis was not the first person to sing that song. But I kept singing the Elvis version, which never matched up to any of the score versions. And I kept finding it very distracting. I was like, wait, hang on. We're Love Me Tender again?
That's an interesting choice for just everything that's going on. And there's like maybe one part in this movie where that song makes sense, kind of, but that's pretty wild. Actually, didn't pick up on that.
Well, that's because you're not as big an Elvis fan as I am.
I guilty. You wear the crown well. That's all I'm gonna say. So, I think we touched on everything else. For me, the technical work. Just what we're seeing on screen.
Well, it's hard to say because it's such a bad quality video.
Yeah. I mean, for free, great. Like, of course. Like, we didn't pay a cent, but again...
Since there's, like, 2 copies in the world and millionaires are fighting over them, like, this is all we're gonna get.
Yeah, this is the bar is set extremely...
This, like... taped off of TV and uploaded to YouTube from like a VHS straight into a digital copy.
Yeah.
Like, this is as good as it's going to get. But it was very hard. First of all the actors looked alike.
It's true.
And again, they did not make enough differentiation between the like North and the South as far as uniforms or whatever. But I could never tell who was saying what or who was what character, with the exception of Mosby, who had incredibly tight pants. Multiple times, I lost our young hero lover in the crowd of whoever he was with because he looked like everybody else except for a little bit, like, doofier.
Right. When I looked at him, I couldn't help but see, like, you know how there are like templates for people, right? Like, or at least I believe that, where like you're like, wow, that person really looks like that person. To me, that guy looked like Matthew Lillard, the guy from Scream.
Whoa, Matthew Lillard. That's weird. That did not occur to me once.
I don't know. Just transport yourself back. It's the way the eyes are set on the face. I don't know. I was just like, man, that dude looks like just a slightly more filled out Matthew Lillard. That's all. Maybe he looks like Matthew Lillard right now. I haven't seen him in 2 decades. I don't know what he looks like.
I thought that he looked like Alfalfa from The Little Rascals.
Sure. Hey.
I don't know if that's the right Little Rascal, but one of the Little Rascals.
I think he was the dapper one, was he not? Or was he the one with the suspenders and the...
I don't know. Who had the big teeth?
That's a great question for our other podcast.
No. We are definitely not doing the Little Rascals podcast.
No. I feel a little out of my depth here.
That's what I'm saying. I think I've watched one Little Rascals movie, and it was the more modern one. I don't think I saw any of the original Little Rascals.
Sure.
Stuff, so.
Is that a prerequisite? I don't think so.
All I know is the I got a dollar. I got a dollar.
That's right.
I got a dollar. Hey, 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 hey.
That's a great song.
That's all
And
I know
it was
about
catchy.
the Little
I do
Rascals.
remember that one. That was
He also sings about having a pickle, I believe. Having a pickle and having a dollar.
Nice. All right. So
Welcome to Whitney's Mind Palace of the Little Rascals.
it's
just a big ballroom full of I got a pickle.
it's perfectly fine.
Hey, 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 hey.
This is where we have arrived, speaking about Mosby's Marauders. You know, if it was a potentially a more interesting, well-executed film, I don't know if we would have arrived where we are. I don't want to shit all over it, even though it certainly sounds like I am. It's another one of these movies where I feel like fine.
I'm curious. I'm going to just plug it now. I'm very curious. Everyone stick around for the rankings because I feel like this was a much more uneven movie, but I feel like story plot point wise, there was more interesting meat on the bone.
Right.
And so I'm curious to see where you rank it and where I rank it versus the other movies because I was pretty nonplussed on the first one. I enjoyed Follow Me Boys, but it was not like, it didn't thrill me. This, I feel like, had more thrilling elements, but also was much more confusing and uneven. So I'm very curious to see where we both rank it. But
I knew going in, I was going to have a rough time with a couple of these up top, and that's totally fine. Mm-hmm. I'm actually, here's what I'll say. Again, it bears repeating that having Kurt Russell be our through line and our Sherpa through these films is what is keeping me, is what is literally pulling me through them. Because I'm like, this kid, he's got it.
Well, okay, so they're about to get much tighter. At the very least, like the movies are more highly produced. They're still Disney films, so they're still like through rose-colored glasses and very, the drama in Disney films is never as dire as a drama in other films. But like, I'm very curious to see the next couple because the one and only genuine original family band is, something that I've been mentioning since we first started talking about this. It's the first like name that I pull out of the Kurt Locker like book that I have.
Yeah.
Because I, as a kid, loved it. I have probably not seen it since I was about 8 years old. So we're talking 30 years-ish from when I last saw that movie to now. So I don't remember any of the story.
Yeah.
I remember loving it as a kid, and there's a song about the one and only genuine original family band that is the only reason that I can remember that title. Because otherwise I would be lost on that long, complicated title of a movie. But there's a song that I liked.
Right. I still have a tough time typing it out when I'm like, and next week we're going to be, the original,
at one point in these
genuine
notes, you've got it backwards in your next week notes. The one and only original genuine family band.
See, I try to do it from memory. I don't know if I'm going to get it. I think there's something to be said also that we're getting to the point.
Well, we're moving from the TV to the movies.
Well, that's also, there is something for sure. But I think there'll also be a changing of the guard because basically everyone who has directed and produced these films from this point, and I'm not talking about the Disney level, I'm talking about the people like on set, are the old Hollywood guys, right? So like they have their careers started in the 20s and 30s.
Yep. And there's a lot of sort of formulaic stuff that goes into it. And a lot of things where they're like, we don't need to connect the dots or we don't need to fill this in. People will know what we're getting at because there's sort of an old school methodology to how all this is filmed and what is important to show and what you can, just do exposition with and whatever. I definitely think that you're right in that there's a very sort of 40s feeling vibe to all of these that we've seen so far, even though they were all made in the 60s.
Yeah, it's and I get it because we go through those waves all the time. But that is the most interesting thing to me when we see basically a director who is under 60 years old, because every one of them has been at least that age. So yeah, I feel like we're coming up on that pretty quickly. And then again, we'll actually be watching a movie. Holy shit.
I also think it's interesting comparing this to Cool Breeze Over the Mountains, how Kurt Russell has been the thing that makes these movies watchable.
Right.
Where I don't always feel that was the case of Keanu. I feel like it was later in his career. But a lot of the early teenage stuff that we watched of Keanu that was terrible, Keanu disappeared into. And in these, Kurt Russell is always front and center, the most charisma on screen. And I think that's a very interesting difference.
That is worth it. Yeah, I would say. I'm thinking of like, what was the one? We thought it was going to be a movie about a band, and it turned into a...
Follow Me, Boys.
No.
The movie about the Boy Scouts?
No, the Keanu movie, where he was a slacker, like an underachiever, and his friend...
Okay, I thought you were talking about Kurt Russell.
His friend commits suicide. I can't remember. Oh, my God. Our listeners are like,
everyone's
dunce.
yelling at us. So yeah,
you dunce.
What?
It's been I thought it was the name of the band in the movie because it starts off with like these two guys are in a band and they're gonna. It even has a name. I'll find it. I'm going.
Educational.
What the hell was it called?
It's something.
It wasn't Act of Vengeance. It wasn't Youngblood. What the? Permanent Record.
Permanent Record. I knew it had something to do with education. I knew it had something to do with education.
You were not wrong. And I thought it was like a record, like, oh, cool, a record deal. That was that was a situation that was more of like an ensemble, even though Keanu was in that. But you were right. Like that was an example for me. River's Edge also, where it was kind of like he would recede. He was not the guy to watch for necessarily. It is almost diametrically opposed to how Kurt has started.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that Keanu wasn't great because I feel like there were several parts where he was great, but I feel like when it was a bad movie, Keanu didn't save it.
Yes.
In those early ones. I don't feel like he had enough presence to have the movie revolve around him, where from the very first thing that we've seen, Kurt Russell, everything revolves around him, whether they mean it to or not.
Yeah. And it's refreshing. I'll be honest. Because even
the ones that like I don't care about, so far there's been nothing that like I'm like, you'd have to stab me to get me to watch this movie again. There was several like that with Keanu. There's nothing like that with Kurt so far. While I probably will not remember most of these early films later on down the road, they're very forgettable.
Right.
I also feel like they are fine to watch versus actively like abhorrent with some of Keanu's.
Right, even later in his career. Yeah, that's right. Eli Roth.
Yeah, Eli Roth.
Stick around. We're going to see how we, rank and all this stuff like that. This is going to be a short episode. We're kind of vamping. There isn't much to say about this movie, really. I know it's my week to do this. There is no plot synopsis on IMDb. There is no plot synopsis on Wikipedia. I found a couple user-written reviews just on like personal blogger pages. And I was like, these are fine, but this feels like, even these feel like too much detail for really what happens here. So I put together something quick. I mean, I'm going to read through it in about 5 minutes. It's not maybe. So it'll be one of those episodes. But it'll be interesting to see where, like you said, where we put this on this very short list so far. But this could be the first divergence. I don't know. Anything else, Whitney? Anything at all?
No.
All right. Watch this movie only for Kurt Russell, if you have to. It is free on YouTube. Just search for Mosby's Marauders. It'll be there. Speaking of watching videos, but not on YouTube. Screw that.
Yeah. Don't rot your braid with YouTube.
I don't know why they haven't directly gone after YouTube like that. That would be like a really fun marketing thing. You know what I'm saying?
I think so.
Like it's that side by side split screen.
TikTok in there there if you wanted to. I'm too old for that, although I have been very deep in sea shanty TikTok this week.
Of course.
Like, very deep.
You know,
the Wellerman is the only thing that I can think of at any given moment.
I would be shocked if there wasn't some sort of music theory course on sea shanties on Skillshare that you could lean into and really, really embrace in a way that hasn't been in hundreds of years, really.
So the other night, was laying in bed and I was thinking about Western society collapsing because of capitalism.
Of course.
And the skills that I have that will translate to a post-capitalism society and those that won't. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I need to learn how to card wool and then spin wool into yarn so that I can make clothes. Because, like, I've done a little bit of crochet. I've done a little bit of knitting. Neither of them really stuck, but I know that I could learn both of those things.
Yeah.
What I don't know how to do at all is spinning yarn and getting it from, like, sheep to ready to make into clothes. The biggest thing is clothing. If capitalism goes away, I don't really know how to make clothes.
Yeah, how will you stay warm?
And I immediately thought, I bet Skillshare has all of these things.
Uh-huh. What did you find? Was it there? Carding wool?
Well, no, I mean, it was like 2 a.m. and I was trying not to wake the dog or my boyfriend up because this was those kind of 2 a.m. thoughts in bed. So I did not look it up.
Okay, well, guess what? I just did.
Yeah, and?
Make chunky wool card for giant knitting projects. It's there.
Yes. Yes.
So, Whitney, you're covered.
That was my first thought while I was in bed is I was like, you know what? Instead of trying to, like, figure out in my head how to spin yarn, I should just go to Skillshare because I bet you there's something there on how to spin wool.
Right. I just typed card wool, but then also, get this. There's all sorts of close-up magic on here also with cards. So if you could do both.
Oh, there you go.
You can card while you card. You know what I'm saying?
I was 11, gun to my head, I would have told you I would be a magician by now. When I was 11, that was the career.
Interesting.
And then I realized that I didn't like people looking at me. So magic probably was not a good career path.
You could have been that mystery magician. You know, the one that like reveals the secrets, the one who wears the mask.
Yeah.
That could have been you.
Still wouldn't like that many people looking at me, even through a mask. So
Understood.
Yeah, no, just a visual medium was never going to be a good way for me to go.
So, dear listener, as you learn about Whitney through this podcast, you could learn about anything else.
Learn about the skills
on Skillshare. You want to card wool or do you want to do magic with cards? It doesn't matter. You could do both on Skillshare at the same time. All right? Mm-hmm. That could be you. There are 30,000 individual classes to choose from. I'm not making that up. That's what they provided me. I feel like it's more than that because when I searched, I searched for card. Oh no, I searched for magic and there are 989 magic, which feels like a large percentage of 30,000. So
it does feel like a large percentage of 30,000.
I don't know how they're searching, but I feel like there's more. But they said 30,000. That's fine.
Andrew is a teacher.
I am a teacher on Skillshare, but I'm also a student, you know? It's one of those situations. Yes. Not only am I the president, but I'm also a member. It's one of those things where this week I just started a class on, it's weird, it's a little meta, but it is how to learn online. That is the class that I am currently learning. And it's techniques.
That's really important.
Right
now.
It's critical thinking. It is note taking. It is how to parse information, how to parse numbers
That's the
quickly.
Biggest thing.
Yeah.
As somebody who did research for a historical podcast, and had to look up people and figure out what was just some guy's blog and his opinions about this person versus what was fact, and how to find that information and how to know what was real history and what was just made up.
It's
it's a skill. It's a skill. And I have to say, I definitely think I could have used this how to learn online class before the historical hotties.
That's a thing. It can be that meta. It could be that high level, essentially, right? You could learn a hard skill. You could be like, give me the basics of accounting or I need to learn how to use Keynote. If you want that, that's there. But then there are also these higher level things, right? And that's really what I've been getting into more and more, where I'm like, let's try to expand as a human being a little bit, right? Let's try to do that sort of thing. What we have right now is a free 14-day trial. So it's their premium level membership also. So this would normally cost $14 or $15 month to month or something like that. But you can, for 14 days, have access to all, and I'm air quoting, 30,000 of these so-called magic classes that they offer, or anything else for that matter.
They don't say 30,000 magic classes.
I don't know. These numbers, I don't know. I've been trying to parse information online. I don't know if I told you this. I've been learning. It doesn't matter. You can literally try anything for 14 days. And if you like it, you can keep it going. And if not, no big. You didn't pay anything. You didn't put your credit card in. None of that stuff. You go to 12and24.com/Skillshare. That's 12and24.com/Skillshare. You will see a nice page that says, Andrew has invited you to join Skillshare. You just sign up through that link. Boom. Take a class. Expand your mind. Don't watch YouTube. It's rotting your brain. No, watch YouTube. It's fine. After you're done learning something. It's great.
Yeah. Balance. Things in equal measure. Learn something, then rot your brain on YouTube.
Ads are weird. I thought it would be easy. I was like, well, just say the words. It's not. But I like the freeformness I like our freeformness that we have. That's not a word.
No, but I get what you're going for.
Yeah.
I'm into it too.
The freeformity of it all, if you will. Whitney, do you want to hear what I have?
I do want to hear.
All right. This is a little cobbled together, but I'm gonna try this. All right, here we go. This is the kind of high-level overview, because there's no such thing as a deep dive for this movie, of Mosby's Marauders, 1967 film. Kurt Russell plays Willie Prentice, okay? He is a young private in the Confederate Army. Those are the bad guys, okay? He makes friends with a Yankee soldier.
I don't know if that's true in this movie. It is in real life.
Yeah, historically...
I think you're editorializing the plot points there, is all I'm saying.
Right. In this movie, you'd be hard-pressed...
The South kind of seems to be the good guys.
Right, which is all very interesting.
Problematic.
It's from a certain point of view. I don't care for the politics of that. We're all just guys.
They mostly avoid the politics.
Yeah.
And they try to lean on the we're all just guys part of it.
Yeah. He's a private in the Confederate Army.
We just barely skirt dangerous territory with it.
It gets close.
Multiple times I was very close to being like, ooh, I'm going to have some things to say. And then they back off immediately.
Right. And you're like, okay, fair enough. He makes friends with a Yankee soldier, Henry Jenkins. I had to look up his name because I feel like it may have been said like Private Jenkins, and maybe he was called Henry once, and I was never able to fully form in my brain that Henry Jenkins was his full name. This is across basically a picket line of sorts, right? Like, oh, the guys on that side of the river, those are the bad guys, we're the good guys, et cetera, et cetera. This relationship gets him in trouble. Some shenanigans ensue. He accidentally shoots his commanding officer, Lieutenant Mosby. Is it Lieutenant Mosby? I think so.
Sure.
However, Willie's knowledge of this area, right, the Fairfax, Virginia area, makes him kind of an invaluable resource because good scouts and guides are hard to find. It's hard to kind of skirt around these brigades and soldiers that are set up everywhere. So that's why Lieutenant Mosby, who finds him not a day later after he abandoned his post for shooting him, invites him into the fray once again. He's like, look, you done goofed, son. If it happens again, I'll hang you. That's just, it doesn't really mince words. Mosby's kind of an imposing figure. So the concept of these Mosbys, they've called them Rangers or the Marauders, but essentially it's like this ragtag group of guys. They're engaged in some kind of, I would call this maybe guerrilla warfare, right? They're in, they do a quick hit, and then they're out. There's no,
the whole point is they've got to distract as many people as possible for this other battle that's happening someplace else. I think they're like General Lee is over here and they have to draw as many resources as they can by being as annoying and disruptive as they can be.
They're chaos agents is what they are.
Yes, they are chaos agents. It's like guerrilla chaos.
Yeah.
So they sneak in the dead of night and steal 15 horses or etc.
But they do that a bunch, right? It's like boom, boom, boom in quick succession. And it's kind of they're like, how big is the force of people that is doing this? Should we send more people to deal with this? It seemed like a pretty solid strategy as far as I'm not into the war games, but it seemed like...
Yeah, no, I'm not a tactician, but it seemed to be a solid line of thinking.
Right. Unfortunately, one of the Confederate generals, he hates this guy. He does not like Mosby. He does not like the way he works. He calls him, I want to say like a brigand or something along those lines.
Yeah,
he's like
something like that. He's very like, these are ungentlemanly tactics.
Right. When it was all about civility. Of course.
Yes.
So the order comes down that Mosby's Rangers, Mosby's Marauders are to be disbanded. We need these 16 highly qualified men on the front lines. They can't be like running around freeing horses, causing chaos anymore. And there's a deadline of, 10 days or something like that. Like 10 days, all these guys got to report back and they'll be assigned to different units. So Mosby, smart guy that he is, he's like, well, we have to justify our existence so we can continue to exist. Mm-hmm. He plans...
Let's kidnap a general.
He plans the greatest heist of all time. What is the prize? It is a general. It is a Yankee general. And using the skills of Willie, Kurt Russell, who knows his way around the brush and all these little blueberry fields that are hard to travel through and all this very intricate information. He's like, we could do it.
Can I also say just another thing that sprung into my head when we were talking about Kurt Russell. So the reason that he knows all of this land so well is that he's a trapper.
Right.
But rather than calling him a trapper, they keep talking about his trapping. And it is so funny to me every single time that they talk about Kurt Russell's trapping.
Yeah.
Because they say it a lot in this movie. And they talk about it in a way that, like, it's so similar in intonation to how it would be said now if you're talking about a very different kind of trapping.
Sure.
But, like, the way that they talked about his trapping, or he's like, obviously I know this because of my trapping, and just the way that they said it, it was almost indistinguishable from how you would say it now about something very, very different line of work. And I giggled like 10 times in this movie because of the way that they talked about trapping.
That's incredible. Right. Context super matters. It wasn't even that wasn't even part of the vernacular then. So, but now, see, it's great. So we are going to do this heist and they need rain and it rains. So that's great. Everything's going great. They go under the cover of night and rain. So again, like Whitney had said earlier, everybody kind of looks the same. We're all just like, our uniforms aren't that different. Our hats aren't that different. We're all wearing these same type of poncho situations. They sneak through the enemy lines and it is mostly a success based on the information that Willie provides. There is a bit of a scuffle, I would say, when they almost get caught. It's like this close. Turns out one of the people who almost caught them was Henry, the guy from across the river earlier in the movie, right? They take him prisoner of war, and then they drop him off at the cousin's house of Willie. So it's Aura Lee. She is very striking, played by Peggy Lipton. And immediately Aura Lee and Henry fall in love, right? It's like a love at first sight thing. And it doesn't matter who you're fighting for, who you're fighting against, love transcends, right? Theme we've seen over and over again. The heist is successful, ultimately. They get this Yankee general. I thought this was really interesting. When they get this guy, they sneak up. He seems offended, right? They literally wake him up out of bed. He seems offended. He's like, I can't believe that during war you would do something like this. And he's like, take me to your general. He's like, command.
No one is ever kidnapped during war.
Yeah. How dare you? I thought that was actually pretty funny. Not meant to be funny, but it was. I was like, why is this guy so incredulous with the enemies? Yeah, it was pretty good though. They took they captured a general without a shot being fired, is what they said, which was great. The captured Yankee general gets sent back to the South. He's in custody, something like that. We see like a very abridged and kind of this weird relationship form between Aura Lee and Henry. It's very fast. Like the dude, we see them.
He's into her at first. Like the first time he sees her, he's like, whoa, this is a smoking babe. And he's in.
Southern Belle, you know?
She basically is in almost as fast.
Yeah. I mean, this dude whips out a wedding ring, his mom's wedding ring, and on the second or third date. Like, he's like, it's like, I found you. Let's lock it up. Mm-hmm. She was like, oh, what my family say? We can't do this, blah, 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 blah. Long story short, there's a little bit of back and forth. Eventually, the wedding is on. However, word of this wedding gets back to the Yankees. And they're like, look, we know some very high-ranking people from Mosby's outfit. Potentially even Mosby himself will be attending this wedding. This is our honeypot. We're going to spring a trap. Mosby learns that they're going to spring a trap. And this is where the movie is all this back and forth stuff. He's like, well, we'll spring a trap on the trappers. Long story short, it all works out. Henry gets shot, but I think he's going to be okay. It's actually not. I don't think we know for sure that he's going to be okay, but at least he's going to be well taken care of. Mosby's Marauders drive the Yankees back. The people in Henry's family, Aura Lee's family, ultimately accept that this young man, Henry, got shot and almost died because he hesitated when it came to shooting Willie. He was like, no, I know him. I like him. He's a good person.
He should have killed Kurt Russell. And he was like, no.
He hesitated and then he got shot. So that's it. I mean, the movie / TV show, I mean, I was not expecting it to just end, but it just ends. Like, they're like, well, I think everything's going to be okay. Kurt Russell's like, when you get better, don't forget, I'm your best man. He gets on his horse and he rides about 10 feet and then it cuts to black. And that is the movie.
Yeah, and the guy is still like shot and bleeding on the ground and maybe isn't going to make it.
Right. No one is hurrying. There is no sense of urgency.
No, they sent the smallest, youngest, most inefficient person to go get the doctor.
Right. And you don't know. It's like Kurt Russell's younger brother. And this kid is like 7 tops. And
very small.
And I believe
very small child.
If you told me that like a 7-year-old during the Civil War is sturdier than adult you, Andrew, I would entertain the argument.
Oh, for sure. A 7-year-old now might be more apt than I am at getting things done.
I'm here for it. But again, I don't know. They had horses and they just sent this kid off on what appeared to be foot. I don't know. That's it. That's Mosby's Marauders. That's all I got.
That's all. That's all there is to say.
Did I miss anything? That was more than I even wrote. I felt like I had to like flesh it out more. Like I said, I only had like 6 sentences.
I think you got all the major points.
Okay. So, Whitney, do you recommend this movie? Like, given all we've seen, all we've talked about, and just the previous 2 films we've watched, Mosby's Marauders, are you given... We have not recommended a movie yet, by the way. Do you recommend this movie?
I do not.
Okay.
Do you?
I do not.
Like I said, I think if this were to be remade, I think there's a lot of meat on those bones, but I don't think that this movie currently does anything with it. I'm very ambivalent about the whole thing. Take it, leave it. Is it fine? Yes. Is it bad? Kinda. Like, it doesn't matter. I don't hate that it's how I spent my time.
Yeah.
But it's also not how I would seek out to spend my time in the future.
Right. It wasn't like remarkable by any stretch, but it was, you know, I'm literally right there with you. I'm not singing. I'd be
also,
shocked.
Especially if you have any sort of interest in historical costuming, do not watch it. I actively dissuade you from watching this.
If that's your jam.
Because they do that thing that all those movies in the like late 60s did, where it's all looks like late 60s, early 70s clothes, but they've got like a big hoop skirt on them. It's bad. Her hair's bad. Her eye makeup looks like, what's her name from Andy Warhol's Factory. Like, everything is super anachronistic in this.
So far, not a single recommendation for Kurt movies. TV shows, actually, if I'm being specific about it. So, this is where we rank our films. We have 2. This will be the 3rd film that we've ranked. So, I don't know how we want to do this. I feel like maybe I'll go 1, 2, 3, and then we'll both say where we want to put it at the same exact time and see if it syncs up.
Oh, I don't know. I have more debate than that.
Oh, you do?
But we can do that.
Okay. So I'm gonna do it right now. So it's gonna be 3 and then say it, not on, because I can't say 2 things at the same time. You ready?
Correct.
All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 2. Yeah! We're doing it, Whitney. Our lists are the same.
So far, identical lists.
Perfect.
I think that there's more interesting ideas story-wise and more pathos in Mosby's Marauders than there is in Follow Me Boys. But also, Follow Me Boys has so many random plot turns that I was watching it and there's an entertainment value in the, I'm sorry, what's happening now? Of Follow Me Boys that I think edges it out over Mosby's Marauders. Like, if I had to sit down and show one of these 3 movies to anybody, I think Follow Me Boys would be like a buckle in, it's a wild ride kind of a thing, and it's the one that I would choose. But I think Mosby's Marauders has more action than Follow Me Boys. But yeah, that's funny that our lists are identical so far.
As foretold by the prophecy. No, I don't know anything about that. I don't know. If you put these 3 movies in front of anybody, right? And they didn't rank them in this order, I would need to hear a compelling argument as to why not. Because for me, these movies, this is the ranking for these movies. Like,
no, I agree. I think there's a very clear quality delineation. Just as movies go. Mainly because Guns of Diablo and Mosby's Marauders are like 2 episodes of a TV show crammed together.
Damn it.
And I think that really shows in how things don't follow through on a line the way that they do in a good movie.
Right. Yeah.
And I think that's where that very clear sort of, this is where they stand in quality comes from.
I'm going to ask a question here that might be a little leading, but it just occurred to me. So, do you think it is possible for the rest of Kurt's career for any of his films to fall below these 3? Because that did happen for Keanu for us.
It did happen for Keanu.
More than once.
That's a super good question. I will say that based on the Kurt Russell movies that I know, nothing's going to fall below these.
You're on the record. I will also go on the record and say I would be goddamn shocked.
We were up until like the last couple years of Keanu's career, and we were still dipping down into the first like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts.
Yeah, that's the roller coaster that is Keanu. It's great. It's great.
We were like, John Wick, oh no, the worst movie he's ever made. Oh no, another John Wick. And it was like, what's happening? I don't believe that any Kurt Russell movie that I already know about, like have seen, will dip into, like, will displace any of these. I think these will continue to sink down.
Yeah.
But I also don't know. There's a lot of Kurt Russell movies I have not seen.
It's fine. My assumption was straight up through the mid 90s, we're looking at a up and to the right graph for me. I just feel like every single one continues to get better than the last one, with some notable exceptions that are based on pure taste. But for the most part, we're talking up and to the right. And then a dip.
Escape from New York is a hard one to beat.
Yeah, I would say The Thing, Escape from New York, which are both very early, right?
But like Escape from New York is 80. So you've got, I think personally, and again, this is conversation we will be having again later, but Escape from New York is better than The Thing for me personally.
Okay, yeah.
I know that's not true for everybody, but for me, like, I'm looking at the next couple in the 80s, basically through all the 80s. There's only one thing that gives Escape from New York
a run,
like a run for its money.
I would buy that.
So I don't see an up and to the right graph, but I do see a fairly consistent rising probably through the 90s.
Yeah. And I think the late 90s, early aughts, maybe. And then another huge rise recently.
Yeah.
But again, based on a very small sampling, as we have seen, less than half of the films that I've even seen of his. But this is just an assumption.
We have so much unknown to go through that this is purely based on what I've seen of his. So
well, that's great.
There could be some real stinkers in there.
I hope not. I
hope not too.
I just can't see it being worse than a 1967 television show that they smushed together.
Listen, I'll tell you right now, I don't think we will watch anything that fills me with the loathing that Ellie Parker or Knock Knock filled me with. I don't think there's a single movie on this list that I wouldn't rather watch than Knock Knock.
And it's funny, Ellie Parker and like these movies that we've had are equally difficult to find. It's mad, separated by decades, and yet both very difficult to find, to come by.
Often the things that are lost to time are
for
lost to time for a reason. There's a reason why we know so much about Cleopatra, but you can't find Mosby's Marauders. It's
true. Very true. Very true. Well, that's good. All right. Same list, no recommends. But, we're getting into it. At least we're seeing some promising stuff from this guy.
We are.
So let's talk about next week. This will be great.
The one and only genuine original family band.
That's right. And you're walking us through it. So it all lines up.
I'm excited. We've already set it up. This will be the first time in about 30 years that I've seen the movie, and I'm only 37. So I'm in for a ride.
I think we may have a guest on for that one too.
I believe we do.
So that's great. That'll be our first guest. Astute listeners may be able to determine who that might be, but we'll play it fast and loose.
You'd probably be able to intuit who the guest might be.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting. A real movie, a Disney movie.
Think of all of the people that you know through this podcast who might also have seen the one and only genuine original family band.
Right. Hint, it ain't me. I mean, I'll be on the episode, but, that's not the answer. All right. That brings us to the end. We did it. Another one in the bank. Feeling good. Whitney, where can people find you and your shenanigans on the internet if they were so inclined?
Well, most of my shenanigans are definitely on Instagram, but that's primarily food and dog shenanigans. That's Whitney Nelson, at Whitney Nelson on Instagram, Nelsen. And then I'm Whitney_Nelson, Nelsen on Twitter. So Instagram, no underscore, Twitter, underscore. And that's where you can find all my stuff for the most part. I am not doing much in the way of podcasting at the moment other than the Kurt Locker. So also listen to Cool Breeze if you want to see more of me.
Yeah. 70 plus episodes. 70 plus episodes. I guess I should note. Let's see here. What's the date? What year is it? Okay.
What year is it? That's a good question.
It's interesting. In exactly 1 week from today, the day of recording this, will be the 2-year anniversary of Cool Breeze Over the Mountains. Our first episode released on the January 26th, 2019. So we might be doing something for that. I'll have to see. I'll talk with Whitney about it, listener. See what we can come up with. So if you want to find me on the internet, I am at Dark Driving pretty much everywhere. I'm most active on Twitter and Instagram. And, you could also find me on Skillshare if one were so inclined. Just go ahead and do that. I want to promote something that is super interesting. I found myself in this really cool gig of filming the Philadelphia Opera recently. So if you go to operaphila.tv, you'll find a video there. I don't know if you like opera. I have no strong feelings for or against it, but I was hired to do it. I'm
generally pro.
Yeah, that's great.
Not that you were asking, but I'm generally pro opera. I've seen a few in my time.
Do you have a preference on language or anything like that?
I've seen several different languages. I think my favorite was Rigoletto.
Oh, well then you are in for a treat. I filmed a competition, an opera competition, which I was not aware of that even existed, right? It is what's called the Jarjari competition. It happens every year. We live streamed it. It happened about a month and a half ago, but I couldn't talk about it for a little bit. We live streamed it about 4,000 people across the world, which was amazing. And it was about 12 or 13 singers competing to win a prize, acclaim, the ability to, when we return into the real world again, to sing live at a very prestigious opera house. Check it out. It's on operaphila.tv. It's called the Belcanto Jarjari Competition. I filmed it.
Fun.
It's awesome. That's it. That's all I got. We did it. I'm going to press this button.
We did it.
Let me press.
Goodbye, everybody.
Wait, I got to press the button. We got to have our cool-ass song. What does Jack Burton say? Oh, that's right. Sit tight, hold the fort, and keep the home fires burning.
Now can I say it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Goodbye, everybody. I still have a box of my magic tricks somewhere.
You should do it. Let me help. Yeah. Did you want to be a magician, or did you want to be like an illusionist?
What
was the scale of your dreams?
That's a really good question. I wanted to be more on the level of like street magic, but I wanted David Copperfield showmanship. Like I wanted like glitter and sequins and orchestrated music and the whole thing. Yeah. But I definitely think that the tricks were more on a one-on-one shocking a small group of people on the street kind of level. I didn't want to like make the Empire State Building disappear. But I did want like a lot of sequins and glitter and satin capes and stuff.
That all checks out. You're probably leaning more towards Siegfried and Roy, maybe, then, if that's what, you know.
Yeah, no, that's not a terrible assumption to make.